What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the JT Sports Podcast. I'm your host, JT. Thursday night football. What a hell of a game. What a hell of a performance that we just witnessed out of Kirk Cousins. This dude was going to work tonight. You talk about surgical. That boy Kirk Cousins, I didn't even recognize the quarterback that I was watching tonight for the Atlanta Falcons. Like, anytime the game is on the line and the ball is in Kirk Cousins' hands, this dude just gets possessed by the spirit of Brady and Joe Montana, and he always finds a way to come through. And Baker Mayfield had a great game too. Can't take anything away from how well he played tonight, but Kirk Cousins, holy cow. 509 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins was on one tonight, people. And this was a really exciting fourth quarter of football to watch, man, because at first, it looks like the Buccaneers are about to walk out of this thing with the win. There's a big drop on 3rd and 8 by Darnell Mooney. Then you get the Young Ho Koo field goal blocked. And then Tampa's running out the clock, it looks like, until Jesse Bates forces rookie running back Bucky Irving to fumble the football. And then you think Atlanta's about to capitalize off it, right? But no, Tampa Bay's defense comes up big. They bail him out. They get a 3 and out. They get the ball back. Kirk Cousins throws an interception, puts them in great field position to at least get a field goal. But then they have a costly holding penalty that has to force them to back it on up a little bit. And then they end up going from being in field goal range to all of a sudden having to punt the damn football. And you put the ball back in the hands of Captain Kirk. And always, when Kirk Cousins has the ball in his hands, game on the line for the Atlanta Falcons, he gets possessed by the spirit of Brady and Montana, and he finds a way to come through. So they get the field goal to tie it, which was dramatic because they got to delay a game. I guess Raheem Morris and company thought that the play clock was about to get reset, but the refs ended up saying, nah, that y'all had enough time to do what y'all had to do. Tall Bowles calls a timeout. You think that Young Ho Koo is about to miss another field goal. He's about to get iced, but instead, he drills the 50-something yard field goal. 30-30, we go to OT. And then Kirk Cousins throws a 40-something yard touchdown to Cordero Hodge, walk-off tutty for the win in OT. Like, what the hell has gotten into Kirk Cousins? Because I can never remember, and all my years watching him, and I've been watching Kirk Cousins play in the NFL for a very long time, I've never seen him play this level of football ever. This dude is on a completely different stratosphere. This is no longer the Kirk Cousins that you remember in Minnesota, remember in Washington, when he was always choking in primetime games, always not being able to deliver when the game was on the line. You talk about an outstanding performance tonight. Kirk Cousins was on one. He's earning that paycheck. A lot of us were really skeptical when the Atlanta Falcons paid him all that money in free agency. They drafted Michael Penix. He's coming off that Achilles injury. You're telling yourself, man, something about this just doesn't feel right. No. This was a perfect marriage because Atlanta, whatever is in that city, there's some magic in Atlanta. I get why a lot of people now all of a sudden want to move to Atlanta because apparently when you go to Atlanta, they got a little bit of magic, a little bit of aura in that city, and they just turn you into Tom Brady in the fourth quarter if you play QB. I mean, Kirk Cousins tonight was outstanding. And for the Buccaneers, man, if you're a Tampa Bay fan right now, I know you have to be red hot right now because you had that game in the palm of your hands. Baker was balling out tonight. He only threw 5 incompletions. He was pretty good, but he didn't throw for 509 yards, 4 touchdowns after walk-off touchdown in overtime. Like, you talk about a performance, you got to give Kirk Cousins his props. He led the comeback on Monday Night Football a few weeks ago against Philadelphia, and then he does it somewhat again in this Thursday Night Classic to get the Atlanta Falcons the 36-30 win. Wow. Like, what a hell of a game. Can we all admit that this was probably the best Thursday night game that we've seen in over a year? Normally when you watch these Thursday night games, you pretty much don't have to pay it any attention because you know somebody's about to get blown the hell out. But this game was an instant classic. Like, Kirk Cousins, who would have thought Kirk? You like that? Yeah, Kirk Cousins, I like that. I like that. I can't lie no more. I'm loving the Atlanta Falcons. I cannot believe. Y'all want to know something? Y'all want to know something funny? Do you know who I picked to win this division before the season? This is so embarrassing. I picked the Carolina Panthers to win the NFC South because I trusted them more than I trusted the Atlanta Falcons. Wow, am I a flaming idiot for that? What was I even thinking? Picking the Panthers to win the NFC South over the Falcons. Like, I'm loving the presentation right now with the Falcons. I can't deny it. Like, that defense was looking like chopped liver for the first 3 quarters, but in the fourth quarter, the final 15 minutes, them boys came up clutch. Jesse Bates is on his way to another All-Pro season. When you get into a close game against the Atlanta Falcons, you're putting yourself in a very bad position because this team just has the ability to flip that switch. When you give Kirk Cousins the ball with the opportunity to win it, that boy is going to call on the spirits of Joe Montana and Tom Brady. They take over his body, and all of a sudden, he's delivering in the clutch. I am so proud of Kirk Cousins. Like, I'm not related to the brother. I don't know him, but I'm really proud of Kirk Cousins. The way he has stepped up in the biggest moments of the season up to this point to give Atlanta some of these wins is nothing short of impressive. Like, you got to give Kirk Cousins a round of applause. We talk about Sam Darnold winning comeback player of the year. You sure Kirk Cousins isn't in that conversation? This dude had the best quarterback performance that we've seen all season. 509 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. That boy was out there cooking. Like, did you see Todd Bowles and what he said to Kirk Cousins after the game? Like, I know what he was probably saying. He was like, man, good game, brother. You was out there doing your thing, and now we could not stop you. I hope that's what Todd Bowles told him because he didn't have no answers for Kirk, a.k.a. Kirk Brady. That's my new nickname for Kirk Cousins. My new nickname for Kirk Cousins is Kirk Brady, Kirk Tanner, whatever you want to call him, because when the game is on the line, that boy goes out there and he does his thing. Like, straight up, this was a great win for the Atlanta Falcons. As dramatic as what they made it, you know, they made it a little bit more difficult than what it had to be. This was a great win for them. Like, they deserve to celebrate. Kirk Cousins needs to pop him a cold one after this one. You know, like, you got to go enjoy a win like this. You just got to. Because at one point, the final 6 minutes, you thought that the Buccaneers had this game won. And I know this one hurts if you're a fan of the Buccaneers because you had this game. Like, your defense came up clutch several times and you still couldn't get it done, man. You beat yourself. It's what Todd Bowles always says in the press conference. We can't be beating ourselves. It can't be the Bucs versus Bucs. Wow. The Falcons are now 3-2 on the season. They improve. Now the Buccaneers, they fall from 3-1 to 3-2 now. Wow. 36-30 is the final score. Absolute classic that we just witnessed on Thursday night. If you enjoyed this episode of the JT Sports Podcast, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you don't miss when we go live and drop new content. Remember, we aren't just a YouTube channel, we are a podcast. You can find this episode on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast from. The JT Sports Podcast is available. Give us a 5-star review if you enjoyed. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, Instagram at JT Sports _ on X at JT Sports __. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys shortly with another episode.